my wonderful sweet baby. So today I want to talk to you guys about why it seems as if people do not like Chloe Bailey. I just want to give a disclaimer that this is a unpopular opinion and none of this is actual factual. None of this is set in stone. So once again, this is just an unpopular opinion because there has been a lot of Chloe dislike lately. So I'm just going ahead and giving you guys my opinion that is not exactly, popular on why I feel like people are not really effing with Chloe like that. So we're pretty much going to bring it back to when Chloe and Halle were younger. Now, a lot of these pictures are going to have Halle in there as well, but this really doesn't have much to do with her. She plays little minor roles, and I will mention a little bit of things here and there about Halle, but not too much. So as you can see, the both of them were, pretty wholesomely dressed back in the day, and then things just went to a drastic change, and we got a good whiff of Chloe now. And this is pretty much the Chloe that we know now. Of course, you guys can't really see much, but her entire booty cheeks is out. And it's primarily because she has on a string bikini. So I think primary reason number one as to why a lot of fans don't really like Chloe as much is simply because her growth spurt slash, her growing up in front of us, it all kind of just hit us. I feel like when we seen them 1 minute, they were, doing the Do It song. And the next thing you know, they both went their separate ways. And we had Chloe with the Lord Have Mercy song. This is a better look of Chloe's elevation, which even here, I feel like it wasn't too crazy. You can see that in the first picture, she was a young girl. And then, in this picture, it seems like she's more so of a teenager. She's kind of getting a chance to know her own by wearing makeup. And then in the very last picture, you could see that, she's kind of exuding that she is a grown woman. I just feel like at first, there was really nothing wrong with the transition of her going from a child to an adult because we got a chance to really see, the progression rather than it being very scantily clad. Even here, you can see that they're adults. They're coming into their own. It's nothing that seems forced. The style doesn't seem too far-fetched from the original style. It just seems very, authentic. This seems like the authentic versions of Halle and Chloe, especially with it coming from here. So then we get Chloe's first ever picture on her page that she did solo by herself, minus the Chloe x Halle page. I feel like after she posted this first picture and people were able to see that, she had hips, she had, curves, she had that ass. Then people started to really let her know, like, girl, we need to see more of the body yada yada. I feel like this put Chloe into a box where she knew then she had the gift of selling X appeal. So we started to get random videos of her just walking around, setting up the camera with her t-shirt and her chonies on, and just simply lighting a candle and dancing around. It was very odd and out of the ordinary because this was just screaming, I'm asking for attention. Because I know this is what you guys like. We, of course, started getting more of the covers from her, and she was dressing very scantily clad purposefully so people could be like, oh yes girl, the body, yes, the body. And I bet you they couldn't even tell you what song she was performing because her whole thing was she was trying to get people to watch and listen because of her outer appearance. She started doing brand deals with companies like Savage X Fenty and becoming partners with them because, of course, they seen what she was doing. They seen that this was the avenue that she was going down. So, of course, they wanted in. And, well, of course, this happened. As you can see, she's covering up one eye and the other eye is free. So we already know what this is, alluding to and what kind of timing she's on. And who could forget that performance that she did when she performed Lord Have Mercy on the MTV VMAs that one year. I forgot which year it was, but she pretty much did the most that year. And she got a lot of mixed reviews that year. A lot of people didn't know if whether they should clap for her because they seen her newfound ways, or whether they should be like, okay, Chloe, tone it down just a little bit. Because she actually did this to the mic and didn't even realize she did it because she was so caught up in the moment of trying to do this whole X appeal. So when did this whole thing come to a point in where people found this form of we don't really like Chloe anymore type of a thing even more? I'm going to further explain it. So here's my thoughts. I honestly think that people really did like the era of Chloe and Diggy dating. I feel like the harmony of this relationship was very cohesive and it actually made sense. I mean, I honestly feel like her relationship with Diggy gave us very much Holly and DDG vibes. Because honestly and truthfully, people that actually knew DDG and knew of his persona and how he acted and how he was when he was in relationships, they knew that he would be a great guy for Holly. And it actually made sense. It didn't feel like a tarnish to her brand or anything. That's why now that people are seeing how DDG is with Holly and Halo, they are more acceptant of how he is because that's literally how he's been this entire time. You guys are just now catching on. So I honestly think that during the time that Diggy and Chloe were together, things made sense. And honestly speaking, which this is terrible, but people actually really liked her for her relationship that she had with Diggy because it just looked like a picture perfect relationship on paper. But then you can just kind of see how she's trying even more hard with her being with Gunna. I'm not gonna lie, the both of them look extremely uncomfortable, and it just kind of seems like she was just trying to go down the same route as her sister and chose somebody, but he wasn't the right choice. Because later, Gunna ended up getting arrested on a bunch of different charges with the YSL case. Allegedly. And he then also popped out with other Allegedly. Girls. So this just wasn't the vibe that people wanted for Chloe. Yet with DDG and Holly, of course people were telling Holly, you need to break up with him. But Holly knew who she was signing herself up with. And that's why, no one really batted an eye, especially Holly, because she knew who she was with. She knew that her man wasn't in no kind of situations, and that the little situations that he was in was just minor and minuscule. It wasn't anything that would lead him into federal prison. And then just to even more so bring Holly into this, which I don't want to do the comparison game because they are sisters, but at the end of the day, we do see that Holly didn't really drift too far from her true self. I feel like in the beginning, when Chloe found that her avenue was X appeal, then Holly tried to kind of do the same when she did the up challenge, and people were looking at her like, please stop. And she was giving very much, Disney, and then next thing you know, she went down the avenue of Disney. Not to say that Holly doesn't give, X appeal, but she just gives it in a different way. A more poised and put together way rather than scantily clad. So I say all that to say that I think that honestly people just feel like Chloe does way too much. And sometimes her doing way too much could be very hard to digest. It's almost like when we seen Miley Cyrus go from Hannah Montana and doing the whole, best of both worlds thing, and then even doing like the whole song where she talked about America, to then talking about, Mike Will Made It, and acting all like she was in her black phase. It pretty much was just too much all at once, and it was hard for us to fathom the shift of a young girl becoming a woman. I feel like if it's done in a way that Holly did it and Keke Palmer did it, where we kind of slowly get a taste of it, then it doesn't become too overwhelming. But to go from, Disney and, being this small little girl to, licking on microphones, it's a lot. But that's my opinion. What's yours?